Hello, and welcome to episode 80 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast all about the National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. Just going to jump straight in this week in terms of results and upcoming fixtures. I guess there is some news for the league, but let's come to that after the results, I think. So, kicked off. The action did on Friday night. 2 games on Friday night, in fact. First up, Raiders hosted Leeds Knights, and that one finished Raiders 2, Knights 7. Also in action were Bristol Pitbulls, who hosted Swindon Wildcats. What a scoreline in this one. Pitbulls 7, Wildcats 9. Wildcats win. I think a lot of us would have predicted that. Wildcats scoring 9 goals. Again, some of us might have predicted that. But Pitbull scoring 7 goals against Swindon? Perhaps a bit less so. By sounds of things, an amazing game and sort of defence is completely, non-existent, I think, judging by that scoreline. Saturday, let's kick off with Solway Sharks. So they were hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs and they won 7-4 to cut the gap to 4 points behind Telford Tigers. Raiders were in action against the Berkshire Bees, and Raiders won that one 5-4 in overtime. So Raiders are now 3 points ahead of the Tigers. So yeah, it's starting to look, certainly from Saturday night's results, pretty clear in terms of what's going to be happening in terms of the playoffs. He's going to finish 7th, 8th, and 9th. Big game this one. MK Lightning hosting the Leeds Knights. Realistically, this was pretty much a game for who wins the league title, I think would be the short summary. Top 2 teams going at it. The other 2 teams have got a chance of winning the title. Lightning 1, Knights 3. So a massive win for Leeds on Saturday night at away ice at Milton Keynes. Surely all but guarantees them the title. Elsewhere around the league, Seahawks and Phantoms played. Seahawks 4, Phantoms 1. And Wildcats and the Pitbulls were in action against each other again. This will finish Wildcats 6, Pitbulls 2. Went along to that game. Jake Bricknell, 5 goals, which is, pretty impressive going, I think you'd have to say. And a deserved man of the match. Realistically, I kind of think it was a game that was over in the first period. Swindon scored 4, and then, Wildcats just sort of saw the game out. Pitbulls perhaps rallied a bit in the second, but Wildcats just sort of turned it back on a bit to re-establish control. Interesting thing, so Bailey Harewood picked up 10-minute misconduct and a 20-minute misconduct after the game. Also, prior to the misconduct, sort of seemed to get involved in a bit of pushing and shoving. Surprising thing for me, I think, was no Bristol players came across at that point. Harewood is definitely one of your best players, quite simply, if you're Bristol. You don't want him picking up penalty minutes. Surely, just get involved. But hey ho, kind of was what it was. But a good win there for Swindon on home ice. Played very well. Sunday night, Tigers hosted the Lightning. That one finished Tigers 5, Lightning 9. I know we'd had a good record against Lightning at home this season. Won the 2 previous games. As I said last week, I think that Lightning will win that one, and they did go on to do so, just because they've still very much got the league to play for, and were very much needing to win games to give themselves any chance. Of course, that win would only be any good if Leeds Knights lost, and Leeds Knights were hosting the Solway Sharks, and that one finished Knights 4, Sharks 2, so 3 wins in 3 nights for the Knights. Great news from a Telford perspective, because that keeps the gap between Telford and Solway at 4 points, and it's now down to just 2 games to play. Less good news if you're an MK fan, because a Knights win there means that Leeds Knights have won the league for the 3rd season in a row. So congratulations to Leeds. That's an incredible achievement. It just shows the consistency with which Leeds turn up night in, night out, season in, season out, quite simply. Still very much the team to beat in the league. A couple of other games around the league. Bees 5, Raiders 3. So that keeps the gap between Telford in 8th and Raiders in 7th at 3 points. And last but not least, Phantoms 5, Seahawks 3. So, heading into the final weekend, as I just said, Raiders have got a 3-point gap over Telford, who've got a 4-point gap over Solway. Being honest, being realistic, I think that, Telford are going to finish 8th. I'll be amazed if they win both games and Raiders don't, quite simply. Not necessarily win both games for the Raiders. Excuse me. Not necessarily win both games, but, just pick up a point or something. So, with that said, first of all, let's see if I'm wrong. Let's hope not. But previews for the upcoming fixtures. So, actually gets underway Friday night. Lightning host the Raiders. I fancy the Lightning to win that one. Wildcats host the Tigers on Saturday night. It's a strange one because we can't, everything would say, Wildcats win that one. But it's at the point of the season where a lot of teams know where they are in terms of playoffs. Is this the week where, perhaps you rest a couple of players or give other players a bit more ice time than they normally get? Who knows? I'll go for the Wildcats to win it, but Tigers have got something to play for. Wildcats haven't. So, a win for the Tigers, I don't think is completely off the cards. Sharks host the Lightning. Everything would kind of suggest Lightning, but I think the Sharks will actually win that one. I'll go for a Sharks win there. Bees host the Steel Dogs. I'll go for a Bees win on home ice. Knights host the Phantoms. Knights to win on home ice. And Pitbulls host the Seahawks. I'll go for the Seahawks to win that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if that takes overtime or something such as that. Sunday night, Tigers host the Sharks. Tigers to win. That could actually be a must-win game. So if Tigers lose against the Wildcats, but Sharks beat the Lightning, that really is a must-win game. Basically, whoever wins that game in regulation time, from Sharks' perspective, would be going to the playoffs. But now I'm going to say that the Tigers will win on home ice. Raiders host the Pitbulls. Raiders are at home against Bristol. I fancy them to win that one, and even if it's not already sealed, but for that to seal them finishing 7th in the league. Seahawks against the Knights. Knights to win that one. I think they're going to want to go into the playoffs with a bit of momentum, and I believe they've got the Seahawks in their group as well. So, I can see the Knights winning that one. Phantoms host the Bees. Fancy the Phantoms to win on home ice, and Steel Dogs host the Wildcats. Again, I think they're in the same group for playoffs, but I would fancy I'm going to go for the Wildcats to win that one. So, there's my predictions for the upcoming week. As always, get in contact. Let me know how and why I've got them wrong. As always, if you want to be a guest on the show, talk about your team, how the season's gone, just drop me a message, get in contact. But in terms of this episode, that's it. But I'll be back this time next week. Bye for now.